All right. Hi. I am so glad that I get a chance to do this finally. It's something that's been on my heart, and it's been on my heart now for a little while, but definitely for sure, I wanted to make sure I captured it this weekend just to be able to kind of update you on my life and let you in a little bit behind the curtain. This is not something I typically do. I haven't really ever really let like the whole possible world in on my life, but the morning after my son's graduation, I think is the best time to do it. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who has supported me throughout my journey of being a single mom. Every one of you have poured into me, have poured into my kids, your prayers for me, the times you prayed for me and you didn't even tell me that you were praying for me. It was well felt, and it really helped me to get both of these kids on their way now. I've got an 18-year-old, a 21-year-old, and, my daughter, she's about to be a junior, working to be a teacher. She's gonna be teaching possibly at, Summit Country Day this summer, under, some other teachers as a teacher fellow, and my son just landed his first full-time job as a welder, welding car parts, and the most important part, brake parts for very fast cars like Ferrari and some other stuff like that. So he's super excited, and he's like, "Mom, I'm welding these parts for these really expensive cars, but I need to be sure that I can afford one of these expensive cars too. So I'm doing this, but I'm definitely about to start doing some other stuff too." I said, that's your mama in you. I love it. I love to see it. So glad it's showing up now, okay? Because younger, he was always a hustler though. So, like his mama, so I like it. So that's it with the kids. They're doing great. They're doing their thing. So now it really leaves me to look at what is life for me. And over the last 3 years going on four now, I have really been working on that because I really wasn't sure. About 3 or 4 years ago, I looked back on my life and I said, "What am I going to do when my kids are like on their way?" Because they were doing fine. I mean, Elise was junior in high school at Mount Notre Dame, and Nick was at Sycamore High School, and they were just really trucking through and doing their thing. But in sports and, doing great with school, and everybody was settled and things have been great. But, I was like, wow, I have to find something. So I thought it was like, yeah, let me just go ahead and get into books and just do the thing. But I was like, no, there's something missing. And that is when my creative juices, which is in my family, like it just kind of like was, hey, no, this is what's been lying dormant and you need to really try to figure her out. And I said, wow. So I said, yeah, let me go ahead and look into this and let me just kind of see what I think about it. And I did that. I said, I want to make tote bags. So I just always start buying this fabric and I had I was like, I really want to do it. I've been studying all these videos and I just kept doing it. And I said, oh my gosh, I think I really want to try this. So I tried it. And it literally is like the t-shirt says. It started off as a hobby and now it's here. So this weekend marks 1 year that I've been in business as Nisha's Handmade Haven under Perfectly Imperfect Quilting and Crafts. So Perfectly Imperfect Quilting and Crafts is the overall umbrella, but one of the I like to say really almost like octopus, right? And one of the tentacles of the octopus is Nisha's Handmade Haven, and this is where these hands sit down and just sew my little heart out into things that I find interesting and things that I really think people need, that are handmade. That is not something that you can just go to your typical store and just go and buy. It's something that was made from the heart and something that was made, specifically for you, whatever speaks to you when you see it. So initially, when I started this, it wasn't because I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I've been wanting to do this all my life. No, that wasn't the case. Now, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know as to what that would look like. But it wasn't until I was about 2 years into quilting and so many of my friends and their husbands was like, yo, she needs to start selling these. These are really good. And I'm like, now, when you get the husbands talking about she need to sell this, okay, you probably are really into because your girlfriends, your friends, they're gonna tell you like, girl, you need to be selling this. You need to be like, okay, girl, yeah, okay, I got you. But when the husbands step in and they be talking about, hey, you need to tell Nisha she need to start selling this. And my brother was like, you know, this is good. His little sniffing self. And he's always had allergies, so it's just so funny. He's like, these is good. You need to start selling. And he's quiet, so he didn't really say much. But when he said that, he said, "Oh, yeah, I think you should." I said, "Wait a minute." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Maybe I need to think about it." And then somebody, and you know who you are, you said, "I believe in you. Look at this person. They're selling quilts. I think you could do it. I would buy one, and I want you to buy one. I want to buy one, and I'm going to commission you. You know who you are. You're first. You know exactly who you are. You said, I'm going to commission you to make this quilt for me." And we did it. I did it. Like you told me what you wanted. I did it, and you were thrilled, and the little girl was thrilled, and I'm so excited. And you got me on my way, and I'm so excited about that. And so I said, well, maybe I can. So fast forward 1 year later, I thought that I would just make products and sell them online. 1 year later, well, let me tell you what this year has been. Sales started off May 23rd. From May 23rd through from May 23rd, 2025 to May 23rd, 2026, I have sold and done over 7,000 products. I am in 5 different stores in Cincinnati, and that would be Stitches Quilt Shop over in Glendale, Keepsakes for Cross Stitchers over in Sharonville. In Morrow, I am at the Grace and May Boutique, and in downtown Loveland, I'm at I'm so excited, the Bike Trail Bookstore, and I am at Lemons and Limes in downtown Loveland. I am so excited. I am so excited. And I have an entire Nisha's handmade everything, custom orders from t-shirts to tumblers, family reunions. I've done girls trips. I've done all kinds of great fun things for churches, and yeah, and there's just so much more going on. StitchCon, which is huge for cross stitchers. I've just done so much. Stitch Away, which is another a getaway, and a Willie. It's here in Cincinnati. So if you're a cross stitcher, you want to check this out because there's a community for you, and they love to stitch, and it's awesome. They want to get me over there. The holes are too little, and I'm just like, I I need a bigger. I can't do it. Okay, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. So either way, but it's just been so much. It's been great. It's been awesome, and I thank everybody for just loving on me, praying for me, and buying from me, supporting me, and allowing me to make your family dreams come true, and your family reunions, your family trips, and your vacations, and your girls trips, and your events that you have at your churches, all these different things. I thank you so much for trusting me. I've had people trust me with their grandmother's quilts, who's passed on and couldn't finish it, and asked me to finish it for her. And that was beautiful because I tried to do it as best as I could to preserve her work because I wanted her to have that love for my grandmother as I had it from my grandmas. Well, my great grandmother and my grandmother and my auntie, they all sewed, and I have their machine, and it's awesome. So I didn't even know really that that was a part of my family. So to be able to preserve that for her, that was awesome. And I have these t-shirt quilts that I'm doing for nieces and nephews and other families and other people that are preserving these really monumental times in their kids' lives or their sisters' lives, and things like that that I've been able to preserve and preserve the life of others. As my one of my best friends, her father passed away, and I took all his shirts because he was a button down guy, and all of his shirts, that he had worn. some of them he had recently worn had a little. His thing was coffee and hot sauce, and I found coffee and hot sauce everywhere, and I left it right there. So it was beautiful to be able to preserve that for her, and to cut those out and make them beautiful and make them something she can wrap herself in at night. So I am just excited about just where I have been in this journey of this year, and I can't wait to see the rest. Um, if you are a prayer warrior and you are all for just supporting people and, just really lifting people up, I ask, please lift me up. I'm excited about what I'm doing. I'm excited about this next journey in life for me. My kids are super supportive of where I'm headed and where I'm going and what's going on here. I would love to, at some spot, at some time in my life, I did in this last year, this last leg of the year, the last quarter of my fiscal year, meaning for my business, which would be May 23rd to May 23rd. So the last leg of that, I did have the opportunity to have a storefront within Painted Tree, and it was a great spot. And I was about to expand and open it up and do more and just have more products. And unfortunately, the company did not make it. There was just some things that just happened, and they wound up closing down. So I had to actually close my shop down. But then this is where, when one door closes, five of them opened up. So it was awesome. So I'm good in that regard, but I would love to one day be able to open up a shop and have my Ankara fabrics and quilts and things like that, and quilt classes and all the African fabrics that you want to hold and have in your heart. Allow you to come buy some, for garments, whatever you want to do. Have classes, have a space for that. I want to have, crafts that help you heal classes. I just want to have all kinds of stuff. I want to eventually have a YouTube channel. I have all kinds of stuff that I have in my brain and my mind that I would love to eventually do. I just want to grow from here. So I just thank you all so much again for taking the time to look at this long video. And I thank you so much for it. And I look forward to the next chapter, because I believe that in this next chapter, I know that there's a book coming about me and my life and creativity and how it saved my life. That's for another day. I'll share that story another time, but it's coming. So look out for that. Not sure when, but it'll be coming. So thank you again. Love you so much. Thank you for such an amazing year. I'm so grateful, and I look forward to the future. Bye now.